1. Madam Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the Bible also said the golden rule: do unto others that you want others to do unto you. And we think that's very powerful because that shows you that things aren't just easy and certain actions have consequences. Let's just take a look at a very simple evaluation of the motion. The motion is: this House opposes the blanket narrative that individuals are entitled to second chances regardless of their past actions. The motion is not: this House supports second chances. So in terms of burden fulfillment and understanding the motion, side opposition actually has to defend the blanket policy. Because if I'm an op and this House opposes, so I flip it and say I do not oppose it, then they have to explain why this blanket narrative is actually important and how that does more harm or actually more good to society. I'll make your job easy for you. There are 3 metrics why this debate clearly has to go to side proposition. Number 1, role and burden fulfillment. Number 2, depth of argumentation and nuance to the motion. And 3, degree of responsiveness, either through points of information or direct and indirect material coming with the speeches. We have to understand that our side was more nuanced to the complexity of how these situations are because of all those different words in the motion. You have A, blanket policy; B, all individuals; and C, entitlement. Things which I talked about in my speech, which their side to a large extent just glosses over, and they hyperfixate on a very narrow idea that people deserve second chances because of a host of reasons. I agree with you, and I think that yes, people do deserve second chances. That's not what this debate's about, but about the blanket narrative of these people being entitled to it and the effects this has on society. On our side, we're completely okay with second chances too, but we want them, absent the narrative, to also work for it. Because on their side, you're more likely to take these things for granted. And as what my partner said in his POI to the whip, there are some bad people who might spam this and actually use this as a means to be able to get out from the bad things they do. Side opposition has a valid question. Their question is, how do you solve this? And what do you do on your side? What is our counterfactual? We told you and we preempted this very clearly coming from my first speaker speech, and I told you that actions speak louder than words. Absent this particular narrative, our burden is to be able to oppose it, and we told you the harms there. The first harm is that if they are good and actually willing to do better, then absent this blanket policy of people having to forgive you or you deserving a second chance, you're gonna atone for the bad thing you did, put in the work and effort. Yeah, it's hard, but if you're a good person, you're gonna know that that hardship is part of forgiveness to be able to unlock that second chance. But here's the flip. If you're as malevolent or bad as what the other side says, it becomes an ultimate guard up or check and balance against these bad guys, because these are the very people that we don't want to be going out on the streets and just hurting other people who we think are so important. So ladies and gentlemen, all of the things that the other side said is valid, but we think that we just have to ask the question: does this narrative do more harm than good? And we consistently told you from our side, it does more harm, therefore we should oppose it. We are very proud to stand on side proposition.